Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. So I'll be very brief. Sorry about that. The Secretary wants to get right after it, so I'm honored to introduce to you the Secretary of Homeland Security, Jeh Johnson. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chief. I guess I'll stand and walk around. Trial lawyer and me can't resist. Thank you all for being here. Thank you very much for being here. I'm here with the rest of the DHS leadership, Immigration Compliance, Commissioner Gil Kolakowski, who I'm sure you all know, Acting Assistant Secretary Tom Winkowski, in charge of Immigration Customs Enforcement, and USCIS Director Leon Rodriguez, and a few others. I wanted to come here around the time of our announcement of various executive actions concerning immigration reform to talk directly to this audience in this sector, because I feel like I know you all so well. I have lost count of the number of times I've been here from last summer. I figure if I keep coming back, one of these days I'll come back and there's a blue sky. But that hasn't happened yet. But anyway, I've actually been meaning to come back here after last summer's spike in illegal migration, really just to say thank you for the extraordinary effort that I saw the men and women in this room put in dealing with all the kids and all the families who were coming across the border here. When I came down here in May and June, July, I was really impressed by the level of professionalism, the level-headedness that went into dealing with a situation that you did not ask for and did not seek and did not, in certain respects, plan for. And I saw you all go above and beyond the call of duty to meet that situation. And I saw the level of professionalism and frankly optimism of your leadership. I saw how you all took care of these kids, even when you were not equipped to take care of the kids. I saw people celebrate birthdays for these kids and try to treat them the way we want to have our own children treated in very, very difficult circumstances. It's hot. A processing center is not a place for kids, as all of you know, certainly not for a period of days. I saw that Sally port out there, full. It was nice to drive up here today and see that thing empty. So I really wanted to find a reason to come back here to say thank you and to say how incredibly impressed I am by each of your components. You should know that in Washington and other places I travel, when I talk about border security, I always emphasize the outstanding job that people in this room did to deal with the situation last summer. So I wanted to say thank you for that. Second thing, I want to talk about the steps that the President announced yesterday. For those of you who are gluttons for detail, each of the directives that I signed, putting in place a lot of new things, are on the DHS website. If you'd like to know what's going on, I'm sure there'll be further training and implementation, orientation about the new policies and so forth, but I thought I would take a few minutes just to explain a couple of them. First, we are realigning our enforcement priorities in a way that I believe will more effectively and clearly get at threats to public safety, national security, and border security. So in our new enforcement priorities, there's this thing called the Morton Memo, which a number of you I know are familiar with, which was signed by the then Director of ICE, John Morton, in 2011, where we lay out our enforcement priorities. That has now been superseded by something that I signed yesterday, which will probably be known as the Johnson Memo, and it's directed to ICE, CBP, and CIS. And basically what it does is lay out 3 levels of priorities for deportation. Number 1, priority 1, highest priorities, as you might suspect, threats to national security, members of street gangs, felons, and those apprehended at the border, irrespective of circumstance, apprehended at the border. The policy has within it the ability to make exceptions in extraordinary cases as long as a senior level official approves it. So the highest priority, terrorists, members of street gangs, felons, and those apprehended at the border. And second priority, those convicted of 3 or more misdemeanors, those convicted of a significant misdemeanor, which includes a DWI, and those who are apprehended who came into this country after January 1, 2014. So recent arrivals, irrespective of whether you're apprehended at the border or in the interior, if you cannot prove that you've been here since before this year, you're a priority to recent arrivals. So in the new policy, there's a clear demarcation between those who've been here for years, who have ties to the community, who have family members living here, who are lawful here, and those who want to come here in the future illegally, or those who just got here illegally. We draw a clear distinction between those two. And I'm going to be highlighting that in all of our messaging.